Oh my God. I'm really overwhelmed. Also, I didn't know there was that much footage of me and my performances. I was like, where'd they get this? This is amazing. Thank you so much to the Human Rights Campaign for this remarkable honor. This is a really, really profound moment and very special moment for me. I went to high school in San Francisco where the HRC equal sign was as common on car bumpers as the Greenpeace sign and anti-Bush stickers. It was everywhere, so I was very familiar with the organization, and at the time, equality felt like such a far-fetched dream, but one that the HRC always inspired me to work towards. Queer visibility is something that has greatly defined who I am. When I heard I was receiving this honor, I began to reflect on my own experience with visibility as a child, and recently, I had the privilege of seeing the Broadway revival of Into the Woods by Stephen Sondheim, and yes, it's brilliant. Go see it. And I was reminded of one very important message from the late Stephen Sondheim that was, "Children will listen." When I was a kid, I listened very carefully for voices like mine in mainstream media. And what I heard back was a faint murmur reminding me that I was an outsider. That while there may be queer characters on television, they were only there for comedic effect, a sidekick or a punchline. I understood that even if more profound queer stories were going to be told, they were going to be told by heterosexuals who would be commended for their so-called bravery in playing gay. And I learned very quickly that the stories being told were often about the perceived tragedy of being queer, rather than the joy of being unique. I watched as a sitcom hero of mine, Ellen, bravely came out only to be met with vicious press and a canceled show. And these messages very much shaped me as I grew and struggled with my identity. I normalized the fear that I was taught around my own community. I accepted that self-loathing and mockery was just always going to be a part of the queer experience. I internalized a rather bleak expectation of what life could be if I were to live my life authentically. I was 19 when I began working in the entertainment industry. You saw me kissing a boy on stage in Spring Awakening. And I had entered the world of musical theater in 2007, and still my agent at the time told me, if you ever decide to be an out actor, you will never work. I remember being so angered by that statement. If she believed it to be true, it was only because her view of the world was shaped by the same stories and media I had consumed growing up. It wasn't her job to test boundaries, but to get me work within the boundaries that had been so clearly set. And I was sickened and saddened by those boundaries. I knew that the only way I could live my life without that sadness was to work against those boundaries. I chose to be open publicly because I was so greatly inspired by those who had done the same before me. I saw the joy and the reward that they felt by lifting up others within their community, even if it cost them opportunities. And I will go off script for a moment. I was up for a boy band at one point. I screen tested for it multiple times. I didn't get it because I was gay, and thank God I didn't get that. Oh my God, it would have ruined my life. Hiding my true identity felt so wrong because I had seen firsthand and people who had let me down because they had chosen to hide their identity themselves. The decision to live honestly in the public eye altered me almost immediately. I felt a comfort with myself that I had never known before, and this choice influenced me in my personal life as well. It gave me the strength to reconcile my relationship with my dad, who struggled with my sexuality. And through understanding and acceptance and exposure to my humanity and my heart, my father's perception of queer culture expanded dramatically. He loves my partner. He's incredible. He's the biggest cheerleader for us in our lives and our relationship. And I watched as mass media's, yes, thank you, he's amazing. I watched during that time as mass media's perception of our world changed as well. Queer stories were being told more frequently. Every year I was in the industry, and these stories were expanding. The characters were richer and more human. And yes, against all expectations, wouldn't you know, the world was tuning in as well. And I watched as the celebration of our culture and more public figures came out. But it actually took me years to release the self-loathing and fear that had been taught to me through media when I was a kid. I've played several queer characters in my career. None of them were more closely connected to who I am than Jamie in Company on Broadway. With Jamie, I finally allowed myself to bring my full self into a role I was playing, my full identity. It's ironic that that would be the role I was most celebrated for. We're at a really terrifying moment in our country right now. Gay marriage could be stripped from us at any moment, hate crimes rise daily, and a horrific legislation like the Don't Say Gay bill are dangerously reshaping how the next generation perceives the world. More than ever, authentic voices need to be heard and seen. Being visible has never mattered more. While playing Jamie, I received countless letters from all genders and ages telling me that they finally felt seen and celebrated. As an artist, nothing could possibly move or inspire me more than a letter like that. And before he passed, Stephen Sondheim told me he was shocked that some people didn't recognize what a huge deal it was that the role of Amy, a straight woman, had now become Jamie, a gay man. And he would say, some of the younger audience members, they actually think it was always written that way. Let them, I remember telling him. What a beautiful example of how far we've come. I just want to say this is an honor that I will truly never forget. I'm sitting so inspired tonight. You're all heroes. As Nick said, you're superheroes, and I want you to know that. Please donate. This is incredible. I am so grateful to be in this room with all of you, and this is a thrill that I will carry with me forever. So thank you so much. I'm profoundly honored by this, and thank you so much to the HRC. Thank you.